Lasted about 5 minutes out there. I said, to heck with this. I'll do this in the morning. And I don't have any inside information. The lady that did it, she got in there. She made it happen.
And he doesn't shy away from opinion.
And I do enjoy drinking cold beer at ballparks. So if that makes me a baseball fan, then I'm a diehard baseball fan.
It's Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
And a very good Tuesday evening to you, Jacksonville. It is Hacker After Dark, 1010XL, 92.5 FM with Dylan Denmark. The Hacker Ryan Green with you. Glad you are with us. A Tuesday night that finds Gator basketball tipping off in about an hour up at Madison Square Garden against UConn. Speaking of basketball, we got the NBA Cup, right? Winner goes to Las Vegas, battle in the state of Florida going on right now between the Miami Heat and the Orlando Magic down in Orlando. Magic up 5, about 4 minutes to go in the third quarter. Winner of that game will go to Las Vegas for the semifinals and potentially the finals of this NBA Cup. As an NBA fan, I kind of like it. You know, most people that are casual people that support the NBA really don't start watching until Christmas anyway. So they came up with this idea of the NBA Cup 2 years ago. This is year 3 of it. And it's been fun, man. I like it. I think it's a nice little wrinkle the NBA has put in there. And Orlando and Miami battling it out right now for the right to go to Las Vegas. We will keep you updated. And, of course, the Jacksonville Jaguars will get back to work tomorrow down at the Miller Electric Center to begin preparations for the New York Football Jets. The Jaguars are going to be a double-digit favorite on Sunday. They are 9-4. The Jets come in at 3-10. I will be down at the Miller Electric Center tomorrow inside the Jaguar locker room. Looking forward to getting down there, getting a vibe from the guys, heading in to another home game at Everbank Stadium on Sunday. And we'll certainly do some one-on-one conversations, and we will bring you those one-on-one conversations tomorrow night and the rest of the week right here on Hacker After Dark. Boy, it's cold out there tonight. Bundle up if you're going outside. It is cold. When I got out of the car a little earlier, it was in the mid to high 40s. Ooh, I'm a Floridian, man. I've lived in Florida my whole life. I've lived in Jacksonville for the last 30 years, 31 years. I do not like this sort of stuff. But as I was telling Rick earlier, I don't feel as bad. Talked to my mother-in-law this morning. They're coming down to visit in a couple of weeks for the holidays. -13 up in the state of Maine this morning, and about a foot of snow already on the ground up there. So we're chilly at 45. They are flat out freezing up there. So it is chilly. It is cold. Hope you guys stay warm out there on this Tuesday evening. Guest lineup tonight looks like this. A little Jaguar X's and O's with the coach, Mark Duffner. 50 years coaching experience in both the college game and the National Football League. The coach will join me in about 15 minutes or so to look back on the win over Indianapolis, look big picture, and, of course, begin to preview the New York Football Jets. We will also talk with my buddy Travis Holmes of Big Cat Country and the Duval Dive podcast. Travis will join us towards the top of the 9 o'clock hour, again, as the Jaguar talk continues for a majority of tonight's show right here on Hacker After Dark. I will tell you as well, before we get to the big deal of the night, that I, myself, and Dylan Denmark, Hacker After Dark, the duo here, we have a pair of tickets to give to you, the hardworking men and women of Northeast Florida, to the Jaguars and the Jets. Sunday, 1 o'clock. Of course, you'll hear it right here on 1010XL. The game will be at Everbank Stadium. If you want to go to the Jaguars and the Jets, it's not going to be as easy as caller 4. We're going to go into the memory banks for the Jaguars-Jets rivalry. I will tell you that Sunday will be the 19th time that the Jaguars and the Jets have played each other in series history, and it's a deadlock. The Jaguars have won 9 of those games. The Jets have won 9 of those games. Something will give. Somebody will take a 10-9 lead in the series. we will go down memory lane, get your memory working about the Jaguar-Jets rivalry and the series history. If you want a pair of tickets to the Jaguars and the Jets, we will do that a little later on here in the 8 o'clock hour. Every night on Hacker After Dark, we do kick it off with a big deal of the night. And Dylan Denmark, let's do that right now.
Time now for the big deal of the night.
What's the big deal?
What is the big deal?
No big deal.
It is a big deal.
On Hacker After Dark.
So, reaction to 14 weeks of the National Football League. Week 15 begins in 48 hours. I mean, that NFL wheel never stops spinning. But primarily Tuesday, and it'll happen a little bit tomorrow as well, I like to get a feel for what's being said about the Jaguars outside the city. Whether that's watching the Check the Mic podcast with my buddy Steve Palazzolo, who we had on Hacker After Dark last night, you know, ESPN, NFL Network, Pro Football Talk, you know, PFF, all the national sites. I just like to go on YouTube and, you know, 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there, just kind of get a vibe about what's being said outside of Northeast Florida. Because sometimes we're so invested in it. I am, Denmark is, all of you are that are listening, Jaguar media, Jaguar fans, we're all so invested in what's going on here that maybe we can sometimes be too close to the topic. I like to branch out a little bit on Tuesdays and just kind of get a national perspective, a national vibe on what's being said about the Jacksonville Jaguars. And one thing that I kept hearing today, I agreed with to an extent, but I also felt it was inaccurate to an extent. I thought some parts of it were true, but I also thought some parts of it were inaccurate. And here's what was being said. Basically, I'm paraphrasing here, but essentially what was being said is the Jaguars are 9-4 and in first place in the AFC South, due in large part, not entirely, but due in large part to other players not named Trevor Lawrence. Basically, what was being said is the Jaguars are winning, dare I say, in spite of Trevor Lawrence. So then, you know, you start doing some thinking about that. Has Trevor Lawrence been great this year? No, far from it. Has Trevor Lawrence been very good this year? No, probably not. But when you're the starting quarterback of a 9-4 football team, when you're the starting quarterback of a football team that's in first place in your division with 4 weeks to go in the regular season, I have a hard time believing that the team is winning, quote, in spite of you. Let's examine the facts. Let's examine the reality of the situation. The win over Carolina. Was Trevor great in that game? No. I think he threw for about $180, a touchdown and a pick. He was average. Jaguars get the win. Week 3 over Houston. Was he great for a large majority of that game? No. But when it mattered, in the fourth quarter, after the Nico Collins fumble at 10-10, Trevor threw a dime to Brian Thomas Jr. that set the Jaguars up ultimately to go win the football game. Then San Francisco out on the West Coast. Was Trevor great in that game? No, he wasn't great. But the Jaguars did not win in spite of Trevor Lawrence. Trevor was fine in the San Francisco game. And that brings me to Kansas City on Monday Night Football. You could argue Trevor Lawrence outplayed Patrick Mahomes on a national TV stage, including the fact that Trevor Lawrence led a game-winning touchdown drive with under 2 minutes to go to knock off the Kansas City Chiefs back on October 6th. Remember the throw to Brian Thomas Jr. on that drive? Remember the throw to De'Ami Brown on that drive? And then I know you remember falling down when Trevor Lawrence did that and having the presence of mind to get up and still score that touchdown. Big-time play by Trevor Lawrence. Go to the win in Las Vegas. Overtime, right? Trevor was very good in the fourth quarter and in overtime. The running game was used a lot, but Trevor wasn't bad against Las Vegas. Go to the Charger game here. Are you kidding me? When the Jaguars destroyed the Los Angeles Chargers. Trevor outplayed Justin Herbert that game. Absolutely he did. Go to Arizona. Overtime win. Think about the touchdown to Parker Washington in the fourth quarter. Think about Trevor driving him down in overtime to get the field goal. Tennessee, Trevor Lawrence, a couple of touchdowns, no picks. Indianapolis, Trevor Lawrence, a couple of touchdowns, no picks. I say all that to say this. There are going to be a lot of narratives about Jacksonville now outside of Duval County and the surrounding area because people are having now to take notice of the Jaguars. A lot of people nationally like to be lazy and don't give Jacksonville one moment's thought. But when you're 9-4 and in first place in the AFC South, you are literally at this point forcing people to talk about you. And the narrative I heard today was that, yes, the Jaguars are 9-4, but they are 9-4 essentially in spite of Trevor Lawrence. I don't agree with that. Has Trevor been good this year? Again, I would say no. He probably hasn't been great or very good or maybe even good. But I think there have been times where Trevor Lawrence led this team to victory. Kansas City comes to mind. Arizona comes to mind. He played very well against Indianapolis. He played very well against Tennessee. He played very well against the Los Angeles Chargers. The narrative that Jacksonville is winning in spite of Trevor Lawrence, that to me is not true. Can Trevor play better? Yeah. But have you looked at the last 2 weeks? 4 touchdowns, no picks, 550 yards through the air, and a couple of division wins. How many quarterbacks not named Josh Allen in the last 2 weeks have played better than Trevor Lawrence? I would argue not very many. The Jaguars are 9-4 due to a lot of reasons, a lot of good things that have happened here. And one of the good things that they are 9-4 as a result of is the play of quarterback Trevor Lawrence. And don't let any of the national folks who haven't followed this team until recently, because now they have to, tell you anything otherwise. 641-1010 on the text line, designed by Lifetime Enclosures. Your thoughts always welcome here on a Tuesday night edition of Hacker After Dark. Again, we will be giving away Jaguar Jets tickets. I got a pair of tickets to Sunday's game at Everbank Stadium, but nope, we're not doing caller 4. I'm going to make you go down memory lane in the series history of the Jaguars and the Jets. How well do you know your Jacksonville Jaguars from years and years gone by? We will do that here in the 8 o'clock hour on Hacker After Dark. Again, 19th meeting on Sunday all time between the Jaguars and the Jets. The Jets have won 9. The Jaguars have won 9. That split will be broken on Sunday, 1 o'clock at Everbank Stadium. Coming up next, a little Jaguar X's and O's with my buddy Mark Duffner. 50 years for Coach Duffner on the coaching sidelines in both college and the National Football League. Let's review the win over Indianapolis. Let's preview the game against the New York Jets. The coach, Mark Duffner, Jaguar X's and O's, joins me next right here on Hacker After Dark.
Post-game Monday is like digesting a huge day of football.
Let's do this.
Expert analysis of Sunday's game all day.
It's not great. It's fantastic.
Sink your teeth into Dandy Foods Post-game Monday.
So delicious.
On 1010XL.
Beaver Toyota, Beaver Chevrolet, and Beaver Mitsubishi are on a mission to sell 2,000 vehicles this December. I've instructed my team to take every reasonable offer. We won't lose your business over price. Thousands of cars, trucks, and SUVs priced to move. Get year-end savings, top dollar for your trade, and the easiest car buying experience ever. But hurry, these deals end when we hit 2,000, and we ain't leaving nothing on the table. Make it a December to remember only at Beaver Toyota, Beaver Chevrolet, and Beaver Mitsubishi.
Attention skilled electricians. Are you undervalued at your current company? Time to step up to the bigger projects and better opportunities. Join the team at Miller Electric Company, a trusted name in the industry for over 96 years. At Miller, we tackle the biggest projects in the city, offering not just the job, but an experienced, top-notch pay, unbeatable benefits, and the best working environments in the business. Please join the team that values your skills and rewards your hard work. Elevate your career to new heights. Apply today at millercareers.com, an equal opportunity employer.
John Osher knows Jacksonville football like Jax Beach knows the ocean.
It makes two of us.
Wednesdays from 10 to noon on Jaguars Today. Served up by Twin Peaks, home of the 29-degree draft on 1010XL.
Truth Teller here, and I've solved all of your holiday problems and stress. A gift card from the Blue Crab Crab House. Get this, you buy a $50 gift card, and you get an additional $15 card for free. It's that simple, and as always at the Blue Crab Crab House, the best crabs in Jacksonville, oysters and seafood, period. Blue Crab Crab House, open every day except for Monday, off of San Jose on Jewington Creek Road.
Bueller, stay cooler with Bueller.
Hey, Jason, I'm worried.
You? Really? About what?
Well, I like to have a little seasonal potluck. You know, invite some friends and neighbors and guys from the office. But if the food gets spicy and the party gets rocking and that old toilet in the two-piece can't handle the traffic, well, what if my drain backs up right in the middle of everything?
Dude, imagine you're wearing my sunglasses.
Okay. Shoomp. Whoa.
If you're planning to host a holiday party and a blocked household drain line threatens to ruin the whole thing, call us and tell us. The drain clearing experts at Bueller Aaron Plumbing will unclog your drain for free.
You do that for free?
It's Christmas.
Yeah, but for free?
The holidays can get pretty hectic. If a clogged drain line threatens to ruin the whole thing, you could miss it.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
Hey gang, Prosser here. Jacksonville homes are selling, but it can take months, and it takes a price lower than you want. Well, getting top price means aggressive marketing, and Chad and Sandy Newman are the Jacksonville experts who have proven systems to drive the demand to sell your home. And they have this unbelievable promise and guarantee. Chad and Sandy guarantee your home sold at an agreed-upon price and deadline, or they will buy it. No required costly repairs. Pick your move date. If you need to sell now, Chad and Sandy have instant offers. Fast, easy, and stress-free. You want max price? Chad and Sandy are going to aggressively market your home, and they're going to get it. Anthony and Mary in Palm Coast said, we wanted to move back home closer to family. Getting max price was more important than a fast sell, but we had only purchased our home last year, so we didn't have much equity. After just 23 days of aggressive marketing with Chad and Sandy, they sold our house at the price we needed to make the move. Call the Jacksonville experts you can trust, and I recommend. Call Chad and Sandy at 904-414-6200 or ChadAndSandy.com.
This holiday season, Universal Roofing Contracting is making it easy to check roof repairs off your list. Save up to 20% on roof replacements and repairs now through December 31st. Financing is available with payments as low as $115. Call 855-ROOF-HELP for your free inspection. Universal Roofing Contracting, protecting your home and building your trust. License number CCC 057165, CBC 1258484.
UniversalRoof.com.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still, present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch.
Back here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville, we are glad you are with us. The Jaguars and the Jets, Sunday, 1 o'clock. Of course, you'll hear the game right here on 1010XL. The Jaguars 9-4 on the year, first place by themselves in the AFC South, have now won 4 games in a row and 5 of their last 6. Let's recap the win over Indianapolis. Let's take a brief look ahead to the New York Jets on Sunday with the coach, Mark Duffner. 50 years of coaching experience on both the college gridiron and, of course, the National Football League. And Coach Duffner is always kind enough to join us here on Hacker After Dark. Coach, how we doing, pal?
Oh, doing terrific. Are you kidding me? To be sitting here right now at 9-4 and winning at home like they did in really playoff fashion yesterday. I don't think any of us could be any better. as we move forward in preparation for the Jets.
Coach, you're such a valuable resource, all your years of experience in the National Football League. When you and I were in 100-degree weather back in August at training camp, if I would have told you 9-4 and in first place in the South heading into Week 15, what would you have said?
I would have said that would be terrific. I said I there's a lot of ball to be played. I was just becoming familiar with the team at that point. And, based on the fact that they had a struggling year a year ago, I think that would have been optimistic thinking at the time, but certainly a lot to be proven. I will say I was impressed with how they were practicing through the time we were out there sweating and watching them. And I liked a lot of what I saw in preparation for the season. But and I also was impressed with what I thought the roster was shaping up to be at that time. I thought they had talent. There was clear talent on both sides of the ball and certainly in the special teams. But I think they're, again, still 4 ball games to play, but I think you've got to be, really proud and thankful for the way this team has played and have played in some tough situations. They've learned a lot. They've learned how to win and come back to win in ball games this year. So there's a lot of positive things going on. I've been most impressed, Hacker, with the way James Gladstone and Tony Boselli are running this team with Liam Coleman and his staff. I mean, they've been a constant there's been constant movement and action as they've been putting this roster together. And I think that has brought energy and competition to the building. And geez, you really like the model that they're putting forth in terms of how to guide and shape this team.
The coach, Mark Duffner, with us here on Hacker After Dark. Coach, I want to get to Liam Cohen in a moment, but since you brought up James Gladstone, look back to Sunday as a prime example. Greg Newsome, an interception. Tim Patrick finds the end zone. Jacoby Myers finds the end zone. Those were 3 guys that weren't even here in the middle portion of August that are playing vital roles on this football team now. Just a testament to what Gladstone did with that player acquisition.
Without a doubt. I mean, it's just been tremendous, and I love it. They want players, and they want productive people, high character people. They're going to compete and also practice and prepare hard and play hard on Sundays or Mondays or Thursdays, whatever the game day is. And you love that. And I love I also see, as I watch, very, very good interaction, constant interaction and communication between the coaching staff and personnel and staff. And you've got to have that. The building, when I've gone into the building, for different podcasts, what have you, you feel life, you feel juice. And it's not just because they're at the moment, having a heck of a season. You just I think that's the vibe, and it's not lip service. So, yeah, I like, they've hit on a number of selections, and I see continued good things to come.
Coach, in the last 8 quarters, the game against Tennessee and Nashville and last Sunday against Indianapolis, Trevor Lawrence, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions, I think has played his best 8 quarters of football of the year. What are you seeing in Trevor Lawrence? Why do you feel his game is improving?
Well, I think certainly a lot of credit's got to be given to Trevor. A lot of credit's got to be given to the coaching staff, offensive staff, Liam Cohen. But the offensive line is a big factor here, too. I mean, against Indianapolis, a team that has a darn good defensive football team and a good front, no sacks. And I agree with you. And really I think a lot of I see confidence in his play. I see a little better, quicker decision making. And I think a lot of that starts, really when they had such a dominant performance against the Chargers, another strong defensive ball club. It's now becoming a word that was missing, I think, in his game is now becoming more. He is becoming more consistent. I mean, again, he played, Pete, the 3rd series of the game yesterday. pass to BTJ, 39 yards, 16 yards to Strange. I think another big, touchdown to Myers. I mean, just excellent throws, consistent, excellent throws. And the other thing that he's, I think, clearly aware of and doing a better job of is running the ball. He has a quarterback draw for 3 yards. He has two, very decisive and aggressive scrambles. He's a good sneak quarterback anyway, but all those things playing in, you just see better and more consistent play, confident play. And I just, again, really how most teams go or how their quarterbacks goes. And, I think you look at the first half, especially against the week before in the ball game and what he just did yesterday, consistency showing up. So, the progress is going. We need it the most now, and it's starting to happen.
Couple more for the coach, Mark Duffner, and Brian Thomas Jr., coach. How good must it have felt for that young man? 3 very impactful catches, 2 highlight reel level catches. Clearly his best performance of the year, and you hope that's really the start of something for BTJ here over the next month and a half as the Jaguars make this stretch run.
Oh, I'm right with you, Hack. I mean, geez, Pete, 39-yard gain, 30-yard gain, 18-yard gain. I know he had to feel good because that whole stadium rocked about it too. And I think a lot of that's, I think you can't underestimate the presence and the addition of Jakobi Meyers and what he's brought to the offense, the wide receiver room, to the example he's demonstrated to the team as a pro. That's been very helpful. And, that's what I heard when you and I were out there sweating like crazy in the preseason. BTJ was the talk, man. I mean, if you had to list who the top player everybody was talking about, it was him. And, he did have some ups and downs, but competitive players and guys that, have the type of character that you want, they battle their way back, and he certainly has done that. And so, we're looking for continued consistency by him. I think Edgar Bennett and the coaching staff, his coach in particular, have done a great job. And so, and I think that the connection again between him and the quarterback, and again, it's a collective effort. It starts with the line's protection. It starts with the quarterback, his footwork, his ability to read coverage, to make decisions, and then, the releases and the get open ability by the receiver and the ability for them to make the catch. So a lot of people getting better, a lot of people contributing, and let's keep it going.
Coach, let's quickly talk about your bread and butter, the defensive side of the ball. And look, there is no doubt in the last couple of weeks the Jaguars are affecting the opposing quarterback. There was a time this year where the pass rush was lacking a little bit. That is certainly no longer the case. How did Anthony Campanile and that staff turn this around?
Well, I think, again, kudos to them. I think that, I think at the bye and actually the week or so after the bye, they really studied the strengths and the weaknesses of the scheme, and also each, the players as they'd seen them, develop during the course of the season at that point. And I think that they've really now, they're doing a much better job of scheme, of defensive selection week to week. And then also the players, I think, are playing more confidently and more effectively and more productively based on the fact that I think he's doing a little bit less. And you're able to see players play more confidently and more surely and more and quicker, faster, if you will, when that happens. And geez, well, Pete, they're doing it. And the facts of the matters are these: they're tackling better. You're not seeing a wealth of missed tackles. In fact, when Indianapolis, we knew was going to run the football, they had the best running back in the NFL, and especially when the quarterback gets hurt, that's going to put more emphasis on them. Shoot, they continue to be the best run defense in the league, holding an outstanding running back, I think 74 or 5 yards and a 3.5 average. That's what they did to Taylor. So, the front playing effectively and gap control consistent. And then when you get 3 takeaways like they did, and you eliminate explosive plays, well, those things, when you get takeaways and you get explosives by a defensive team that's playing confidently, that knows what their job is and can play fast. So they've done an excellent job of, again, continuing to not get intoxicated by too much scheme, allowing their players to play. I think Anthony, too, is mixing a better amount of percentage pressure. I mean, he went after Leonard yesterday when he was coming into the game, being a little bit inexperienced. He also mixed in coverage and disguise well. So, geez, Pete, I mean, 3 takeaways, 19 points. I mean, an excellent first half and a very good second half, too, across the board. So I think, again, a very effective job by Anthony Campanile and the defensive staff.
Coach, as we begin to wrap up, the New York Jets come in here on Sunday. Certainly they're a team that's struggling. They were, quite frankly, bad in their loss to Miami on Sunday. But big picture-wise, you know, that fourth quarter collapse against Houston, Liam Cohen talked about that in the post-game press conference after Indianapolis. Travis Etienne did as well. Obviously, that game still bothers them immensely, and it should. It was the biggest collapse in the fourth quarter history of the Jaguar franchise. But, Coach, this team has been different since that moment. They've played 4 games. They've won them all. They've destroyed 3 of their 4 opponents with the Chargers, Titans, and Colts. I mean, Nick Mullins was in the game in the fourth quarter in those 3 games. Just speak to the fact of whatever that fourth quarter did for the Jaguars, they've used that for a positive because they have been different since that moment.
Well, no question. And, you know, we've all lamented that collapse, but frankly, it's a blessing in disguise because they took that situation and turned it into a very, very effective learning moment, teaching moment, to where now they, again, understand what it takes to win and win games against anybody. Anybody can beat you. We're seeing it each and every Sunday and each and every week in terms of the way the schedule is. And if you're not, bringing your A game, and in particular your A game at this time of year, troublesome things can happen. And, I was concerned, the week before in terms of when they played Tennessee that with the Indianapolis game looming the next week, would they lose their focus? Would they be looking beyond Tennessee? Well, heck no. They handled the Tennessee game properly with excellent play on both sides of the ball. And then they demonstrated it again in a critical divisional game right now for where everybody wants to go in terms of post-game or postseason play. So this team's following the lead of the head coach, Coach Cohen, and the rest of the staff, and understanding it's about us, one game at a time, even though that's overused at times. You've got to have that kind of focus, and they're going to need that kind of focus against the Jets. The Jets are, they're capable. They've got excellent players. That's a fact, and they've shown flashes. Well, they can flash up against anybody. We just don't want it to be against the Jacksonville Jaguars. But I feel like that. I just like a lot of what I see right now in terms of this team's following the direction of the staff, following the direction of leadership in the building, and focusing on the task at hand. If they continue to do that, we're going to like the results.
Jaguars and the Jets, Sunday, 1 o'clock. Of course, you'll hear the game right here on 1010XL. The coach, Mark Duffner. Coach, I know how busy you are. Thank you for taking time out, and we'll talk soon, pal.
I appreciate it, Hack. I always enjoy being with you. And again, I appreciate the outstanding platform that you bring to the fans. It's second to none. So keep up the great work.
He was the best back in Jacksonville.
It has to be Fred Taylor.
Fred Taylor joins Dan and Jeff on The Drill Monday mornings at 8:30.
A tough guy.
Monday morning running back with Fred Taylor is fueled by Epstein and Robbins and Monahan Jewelers.
The holidays are just around the corner, and so is your entire family.
Babe, the toilet's growling at me again.
Uh-oh, the kitchen sink just turned into Old Faithful. There's no hot water!
Don't let plumbing chaos steal your holiday cheer. Call Duck Duck Rooter today to fix those issues before Aunt Linda blames you for ruining Christmas dinner. Duck Duck Rooter, your local plumbing pros. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. DuckDuckRooter.com.
Hey, is your home ready for the holidays? Hicken here. Spots are filling up fast. Lock in yours today at ZeroResJacksonville.com and get 20% off all hard surface cleaning, tile and grout, hardwood, LVP. Happy holidays from all of us at Zero Res.
Look around and we know you've got options for gasoline, but those other places, they're not in the business of more. At Shell, that's what you get every day. Members get more rewards, more savings, more special offers. You'll even get 10 cents per gallon off of your first fill when you sign up and save on every fill after that. Choose to get more and more with every drive. Join the Shell Fuel Rewards program today at fuelrewards.com. Offer valid at participating Shell locations. Offer must be redeemed within 60 days of registration. Limit 20 gallons. Restrictions apply. Visit fuelrewards.com for more information.
Want to make this the most unforgettable Christmas? Beards Diamonds is here to help with our most dazzling selection ever. Stylish rings, dazzling earrings, eye-catching bracelets, show-stopping pendants and necklaces. Imagine the look in her eyes opening that box and seeing that magnificent and meaningful piece of jewelry. Beards Diamonds showcases are fully stocked with the classics, as well as the latest trendy fashion jewelry from world-class designers. Unique, one-of-a-kind items you can't find anywhere else. And if you need our help, our non-commissioned experts will guide you, respecting your price range and offering you tips on can't-miss gifts for the season. Ask about Diamond Classic Jewelry, now available in either natural or lab-grown diamonds. Beards has something for everyone. So this December, give the gift that sends the message of love like nothing else. A beautiful, meaningful, and memorable piece of jewelry from Beards Diamonds, the town center's only locally owned jeweler you can trust. Merry Christmas from Beards Diamonds in the St. John's Town Center.
The best financial move you can make this time of year? How about lowering your mortgage rate to 4.99% fixed APR, the lowest rate in years? How about getting up to $500,000 out of your home equity in the process? You can do it now by calling Loan Pronto. Hey, it's Prosser here, and with Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan, you can get a ton of cash, pay off all those high-interest credit cards, and skip up to 2 house payments. One homeowner just got $300,000 approved in under 24 hours. Wiped out their credit cards and 2 car loans, saved $2,100 a month. So don't wait. No hard credit pull up front, and you probably won't even need an appraisal. Just fast, easy cash from your home's equity. Act now. Call 904-999-1508 or go to loanpronto.com. Start the new year by wiping out your high-interest debt. 904-999-1508. And you can see how much cash you can get today. That's loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, APR for well-qualified buyers. Visit NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Checkmate. I'm Brendan Cecilia, founder of Checkmate Coatings.
And I'm Chester, adorable mascot for Checkmate Coatings.
If you're thinking of refinishing your garage floor, there's 2 things you need to know about us. My family has been in the concrete coatings industry for more than 40 years.
And I was drawn 6 months ago by an artist in New Jersey.
Why is that even relevant?
Well, you said 40 years experience, so I had to give them something.
Over the years, we've worked closely with major manufacturers to develop a multi-layer application process that creates beautiful, durable, and long-lasting floors.
So even decades from now, your garage floor will look as gorgeous as it did the day it was installed.
Experience?
Check. Durable?
Check. Decades of experience making garage floors gorgeous? Checkmate.
Transforming your floors, making them great. Checkmate.
Visit checkmatecoatings.com. That's checkmatecoatings.com.
Hey folks, Mike Dempsey here. You've heard me talking about Pella Windows and Doors with great ratings and expert reviews. You know they're high quality and energy efficient products. So what's your next step? Schedule a free consultation at PellaJacks.com or just stop by the Pella showroom on Phillips Highway. Their professional design consultants will guide you through your entire project from start to finish. And that's the quality and service you can expect from Pella Windows and Doors.
This is the home of the Florida Gators. Get your Gators hoops on 1010XL. Brought to you by the personal injury attorneys of Farah and Farah, Randy Marion Cadillac of Jacksonville, and Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors.
At the First Coast YMCA, you'll find much more than just a gym. We offer many ways to help you become more active, reach your weight loss goals, and find your inner strength. Membership at the Y includes state-of-the-art facilities, a huge variety of fitness classes, and programs for all ages. It's easy to join the Y since it's affordable for all incomes. The Y is a great place to make connections and experience something new. Visit the YMCA near you or online at fcymca.org.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch. Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
Yes, it is. Hacker After Dark on a Tuesday, 1010XL, 92.5 FM. As always, thank you to the coach, Mark Duffner, for joining us tonight here on Hacker After Dark. Congratulations are in order to the Orlando Magic. Orlando has defeated Miami in the quarterfinals of the NBA Cup, and they punched their ticket to Las Vegas. They will go Saturday and play the winner of the game that's about to tip off between the Knicks and the Raptors. I would imagine the Miami Heat are about tired of seeing the Orlando Magic. The NBA season's just under 2 months old. Orlando has already beaten Miami 3 times this year. Orlando wins it even without Franz Wagner. And again, they will advance to Las Vegas to take on the winner of the Raptors and the Knicks. You got the Western Conference tomorrow night, which includes among them Oklahoma City, San Antonio, and the Lakers, all trying to get to Las Vegas themselves. Jaguars and the Jets, Sunday, 1 o'clock. You'll hear it right here on 1010XL. Pregame coverage at 8 a.m. all the way up and through the game, the network postgame, and the 5th quarter. Myself, the coach, Gerald Ingram, the Pro Bowler, Leon Searcy. We will have the 5th quarter for you 2 hours after the Jaguars and the Jets go final. I want to look at the AFC playoff picture in just a moment, but I mentioned at the top of the show that we have a pair of tickets to give away to the Jaguars and the Jets. If you want a pair of tickets, here's what you need to do. It's not caller 4. You're going to have to earn these tonight. You're going to have to put a little work in, or you're just going to have to be a very good guesser, one of the two. Here is the question. The first person that can tell me the answer that gives it to Dylan Denmark will get a pair of tickets to the Jaguars and the Jets on Sunday. As I mentioned earlier, this is the 19th time the Jaguars and the Jets have played each other. Currently, the series is tied 9 wins for New York, 9 wins for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Here is your question. The first time the Jaguars beat the New York Jets was October 13th, 1996. Year 2 for the Jaguar franchise. In that game, the Jaguars were trailing 14-6. Jimmy Smith caught a touchdown from Mark Brunell. Keenan McCardell got a 2-point conversion to tie the game at 14 apiece. My question to you is this. For a pair of tickets to the Jaguars and the Jets on Sunday, tell me which Jacksonville Jaguar, the first time the Jaguars beat the Jets, October 13th, 1996, which Jacksonville Jaguar caught the eventual game-winning touchdown pass from Mark Brunell. Now, you could call in and guess. There's some logical choices. I would tell you that's probably a bad formula. You're going to have to know this. And if you don't know it, you're going to have to scramble and look it up before somebody calls in that does know it. 904-641-1010, 904-641-1010. If you want to go to Everbank Stadium on Sunday, tell me which Jaguar player caught the game-winning touchdown October 13th, 1996, to give the Jaguars their first ever victory over the New York Football Jets. Speaking of the Jets, I talked to some people in New York earlier today. We're going to have some Jets folks on Hacker After Dark beginning tomorrow. Bad times for the Jets. 3-10, injuries all over the place, star players not playing, star players traded. They've obviously already traded Sauce Gardner. They traded Quinnen Williams. Justin Fields missed last week's game due to injury. Tyrod Taylor started for him. He left the game due to an injury. They had to put an undrafted kid in, and Brady Cook. I mean, it's a bad situation for the Jets. They have 2 takeaways on defense the entire year. 2 takeaways the entire year, and they don't have an interception, I believe, is what I heard. How can you not have an interception 13 games into an NFL season? But that apparently is the story for the New York Jets. The Jaguars are a double-digit favorite. The Jaguars sit at 9-4. They're trying to get to double-digit wins on the year, trying to get to 10-4 on the season. If you look at the current AFC playoff picture, the Denver Broncos are the number 1 seed. They are 11-2. The New England Patriots are the number 2 seed. They are 11-2. And they're the Jaguars sit 9-4, 1 game better than the Houston Texans. Let's live big here. Let's imagine big. Let's dream to our heart's content for a moment. Let's look at the 4 remaining games for the 2 teams that are currently ahead of the Jacksonville Jaguars in the AFC playoff picture. Because I saw this earlier today and it piqued my interest, and I thought to myself, I wonder how many people know about this. So the Denver Broncos are 11-2 on the year, 2 games better than Jacksonville. Here's the Broncos' 4 remaining games. They are at home Sunday against the Green Bay Packers. They are then at home next Sunday against the Jacksonville Jaguars. They then go on the road to Arrowhead Christmas night and play Kansas City, only to end with a home game against Justin Herbert and the Los Angeles Chargers. That's rough, man. Now, look, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that Denver is going to collapse. Quite frankly, they may not need to collapse. Hypothetically, in a hypothetical world, if Jacksonville goes 4-0, which would include a victory over Denver, Denver could go 2-2 in those 4, and Jacksonville could still beat them out for the number 2 seed or even the number 1 seed. Again, Denver's games: home Green Bay, home Jacksonville, on the road at Arrowhead Christmas night against the Chiefs, home against the LA Chargers. That is a rough 4-game slate for the Denver Broncos. Now let's go to New England. Mike Vrabel, probably coach of the year. He has the Patriots 11-2. He also has the Patriots as the 2nd seed in the AFC. All right, New England's 4 remaining games. They play Buffalo this week in Foxborough. Enormous game in the AFC East. The Patriots can wrap up the division with a victory. So they play Buffalo. They then go to Baltimore. They play the Jets. And they end with the Miami Dolphins. A little easier because you got the Jets, but you still have Buffalo, Baltimore, and a surging Miami team in New England's last 4 games. And then, of course, we know Jacksonville, right? Tennessee, the Jets, the Colts, potentially with Phillip Rivers, and, of course, that game against Denver. I don't know. I don't think it's crazy talk to think Jacksonville could make a run at a 2 seed, or dare I say even a 1 seed over the last month of the year. Denmark, I would assume, do we have a winner for those tickets?
Yeah, Mr. Darrell, he got them.
Darrell got it. I will give you the answer because people are still calling in like nobody's business. October 13th, 1996, the first time the Jaguars ever beat the New York Jets. Jimmy Smith caught a touchdown. McCardell had the 2-point conversion that tied the game 14-14. I asked you who caught the eventual game-winning touchdown. If you knew your 1996 Jaguars, you might have thought Jimmy Smith. You might have thought Keenan, right? Certainly plausible. Nope. Had to go a little deeper than that. Former Gator Willie Jackson, a 41-yard touchdown catch from Mark Brunell, was the game winner for the Jaguars on that day in October of 1996 to give the Jaguars their first win over the New York Football Jets. Willie Jackson is the answer. Congratulations to Daryl. He is heading to Everbank Stadium on Sunday. So I mentioned Denver 1, New England 2, Jacksonville 3. Pittsburgh currently sits as the 4. They're 7-6. Chargers, a huge win last night over Philadelphia. Philadelphia is absolutely leaking oil right now. The Chargers are the 5 seed. The Buffalo Bills are the 6 seed currently. And the Houston Texans are the 7 seed. I really hope that doesn't last, because if the playoffs started today, the 3 seed Jaguars would be hosting the 6 seed Buffalo Bills. Denmark, is there a team you want to avoid more than anybody than Buffalo in round 1 of the AFC playoffs?
Buffalo's defense is not that good.
But Josh Allen is Superman.
Yeah, he is. But that team, like, it's a debate for me. Like, if the Jags win the division, like, I don't know if I would rather play Buffalo or Houston.
I think you'd rather play the Chargers among all 3 of them.
Yeah, of those 3.
But if it comes down to Buffalo, we're writing Indy off because they're 8-5 and they're going to probably start a grandfather at quarterback. They're technically still in the mix. That's basically it for the wild cards. The only shot Baltimore has is to win the division. Baltimore's 6-7. Basically, it's the Jaguars, the Texans, the Bills, the Chargers, and the Colts competing for the wild card, with the caveat that the Jaguars, Texans, and Colts are all competing for the AFC South. Denver's going to win the West. New England likely to win the East unless Buffalo beats them on Sunday. Then that really becomes in doubt. And then Pittsburgh and Baltimore are competing for that 4 seed. So Jacksonville could be really 1, 2, 3, dare I say 5, 6, or 7 seeds, which means they got to take care of business, all right? They got to take care of business. I know the Jets are awful. I know they're 3-10. I know things have been awful for the Jets for many, many years. They got quarterback issues. But again, this is a Jaguar football team that lost to Jake Browning earlier in the year. This is a Jaguar football team that Davis Mills came back from a 19-point deficit and beat you in the 4th quarter. I am absolutely not taking anything for granted. The Jaguars are in terrific shape. They got like a 97% chance of making the playoffs, but you need to win at home. You're a double-digit favorite at Everbank Stadium against a wounded, and I do mean wounded, New York Jet football team. Go out there, do what you did in Nashville a couple of weeks ago. Go out there, take control in the 1st quarter. Don't give the Jets any idea, any thought of an idea of pulling off the big upset. Get on them early and coast to a victory. That is my hope on Sunday at Everbank Stadium. Let's talk Jaguars-Jets. Let's recap Jaguars-Colts. And let's, again, take a look at the big picture when it comes to the Jaguars over the next month of the season. My buddy Travis Holmes of Big Cat Country. He's also the host of the Duval Dive podcast. He joins us next on a Tuesday night here in Northeast Florida. Jacksonville, we're glad you're with us. It's Hacker After Dark right here on 1010XL and on 92.5 FM.
The Jets fly into the First Coast, and Trevor's in charge of in-flight entertainment. Who'll win the air battle at the bank? Duval's determined to keep New York grounded.
This is your captain speaking. Better fasten your seatbelt. We're expecting turbulence.
It's turbulence and touchdowns. Jaguars, Jets, Sunday at 1 on the home of the Jaguars. 1010XL. 10XL.
Truth Teller here, and I've solved all of your holiday problems and stress. A gift card from the Blue Crab Crab House. Get this, you buy a $50 gift card, and you get an additional $15 card for free. It's that simple, and as always at the Blue Crab Crab House, the best crabs in Jacksonville, oysters, and seafood, period. Blue Crab Crab House, open every day except for Monday, off of San Jose on Jewington Creek Road.
If your ride is making strange noises, don't wait and make it worse. Come to Action Transmission on Merrill Road. My expert technicians can diagnose the problem and likely fix it fast. Experience the difference at Action Transmission on Merrill Road.
Baloo here for Smunez Vision. Why Smunez Vision? Well, I've been with Dr. Neil Smunez now since I got back to Jacksonville in 2006. 37 years of experience he has. Smunez Vision is a family organization that focuses on personal high-quality medical and surgical eye care. Dr. Catherine Smunez is fellowship-trained in cornea and cataract surgery and all refractive surgery. Combined, that's 30 years plus in laser eye surgery. Visit SmunezVision.com today. Care you can see.
Are you looking for a place to outfit your truck or van? It's Catlin Truck Accessories. For 105 years and 4 generations, Catlin is the name you can count on. This is Keith Catlin, and we know trucks and vans too, from Lear toppers, ladder racks, van shelving, strobe lighting, roll and lock bed covers, and everything in between. If you want quality products and great customer service, there's only one name. It's Catlin.
Who can you count on? Count on Catlin.
For 105 years, you can count on Catlin.
This Date in Sports History is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On December 9th, 2004, Tracy McGrady delivered one of the most memorable scoring performances in regular season history, scoring 13 points in the final 35 seconds in a win against the Spurs.
If you are an experienced electrician looking for your next big opportunity, look no further than the Miller Electric Company, a trusted name in the industry for over 96 years. At Miller Electric, we tackle the biggest projects in the city, offering you the chance to showcase your skills on a grand scale. We believe in rewarding hard work with the best pay, top-notch benefits, and an unbeatable culture where people actually care about each other. Take your career to new heights with Miller Electric Company. Apply today at millercareers.com. Miller Electric, an equal opportunity employer.
Home of the Jacksonville Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
A new exclusive offer with an eligible Bank of America Visa credit card is your opportunity to go from cardholder to ticket holder for the FIFA World Cup 2026. For a limited time, when you're approved for a new customized cash rewards or unlimited cash rewards Visa credit card, you're eligible for a chance to purchase FIFA World Cup 2026 tickets. Learn more today at BofA.com/cardFWC26. What would you like the power to do? Bank of America, proud to be the official bank of FIFA World Cup 2026. Bank of America N.A. in partnership with Visa. Terms apply. All rights reserved.
Brackish Vodka, the spirit of the sportsman and proud partner of the Jaguars, is now available at the Fresh Market Spirits and Wine. The Fresh Market Spirits and Wine is a new adult beverage store offering spirits, wine, beer, and accessories at A1A North in Ponte Vedra, a first-of-its-kind destination for thoughtfully curated spirits, wine, and beer as only the Fresh Market can. And now, you can get Brackish Vodka at the Fresh Market. Brackish Vodka, for whatever your sport is. Proud partner of the Jaguars.
If you're looking to deck the halls, Jacksonville Flower Market off Beach and Southside has holiday decor, centerpieces, garlands, and Christmas trees. Make your day merry with 10% off your holiday purchase at Jacksonville Flower Market.
Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Hacker here for the best weight loss program that I've ever been on. You know, I hear some of my friends telling me about this medication they're on, or that medication they're on, or this shot they're taking. And I stop them and say, well, wait a minute. I lost over 100 pounds doing it the all-natural way with Awaken 180 Weight Loss. There was no medications. There was no shot once a week. There was the coaching I received from Awaken 180. There's the plan they put me on, and you see the results. Over 100 pounds of weight loss in less than a calendar year. The coaching I got was phenomenal. Not only did it help me lose the weight, it's helping me keep the weight off now that I'm in the maintenance program. Awaken 180 is the best weight loss program I've ever been on, and I tried them all. Go to awaken180weightloss.com, awaken180weightloss.com, or call 844-346-1800.
Your home deserves more than just another coat of paint. It deserves quality that lasts. At First Coast Paint, you'll find premium Benjamin Moore products, trusted advice, and the local experts who help you get it right the first time. Whether it's your living room, your porch, or your whole house, First Coast Paint brings your paint project to life. Stores in St. John's and St. Augustine. One name Jacksonville Trust. Mention 1010XL for 10% off. First Coast Paint. Simply superior paint.
Jacksonville Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Westside, your locally owned commercial truck headquarters and proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Hey, it's Rick Ballou. We got a fresh shipment of hard-to-find ProMaster vans, perfect for Section 179. My buddy Tommy and his team are committed to the community and make the process simple. Upfits, delivery, everything handled right. If you need ProMaster vans or commercial trucks for your fleet, you need Jacksonville, Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, Ram, Westside.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still, present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch.
Back here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville, we are glad you are with us. Jaguars and the Jets, Sunday, 1 o'clock. Of course, you'll hear the game right here on 1010XL. The Jaguars 9-4 in first place in the AFC South. Let's recap the win on Sunday over Indianapolis. Let's look ahead to the Jets this Sunday, once again at Everbank Stadium with my buddy Travis Holmes. You read his terrific work at Big Cat Country. You also see him on the Duval Dive podcast. And Travis is always kind enough to join us here on Hacker After Dark. Travis, how we doing, man?
Great day in Duval. It's a wonderful week. It's just when the Jaguars win, everything else just seems like it pales in comparison.
Travis, it's 4 in a row, and it's 5 out of 6. I mean, I'm not speaking, over here when I say that I think Jacksonville's playing some of the best football in the National Football League right now.
I think it's hard to argue that they aren't. When you especially consider the slate that they've run through, and the lack of attention it got from the rest of the NFL in the earlier parts of the season to now be going into the easier parts of the season, and you're like, all right, this team could actually be something. And I think a lot of Duval County just didn't believe it. They didn't want to believe it, despite the fact that was the Jacksonville Jaguars' hardest part of their schedule, and now we're seeing it kind of come to fruition. And I think you're right. I think the Jaguars at this point, if they don't just fumble that one real big game, that Broncos game that's on the schedule that's kind of circled for everyone, it's hard to argue that the Jacksonville Jaguars aren't a pretty dominant football team and absolutely ahead of schedule.
I want to recap Indianapolis with you in a moment, but since we're on this topic, I'll go ahead with Liam Cohen. It's very apparent to me that he should be absolutely in the Coach of the Year discussion in the National Football League. It's also very apparent to me, Travis, and I'm curious your thoughts, that he has really dove into the lack of respect card. I mean, that is what their calling card is. He brought it up, Sunday after the win over Indianapolis. We've heard him bring it up in the past as well. Players are bringing it up. I mean, that is a big motivation for this football team. And what's curious is it's always been a motivation for the fan base, the lack of respect. But I've asked players and I've asked coaches in the past about that here, and they really didn't want to talk about it. They really didn't dive into it all that much. Liam Cohen's kind of diving head first into that.
Well, it's an interesting situation because if you've played, in any sport, in any competitive sport, you see you lean into what your team reacts to. Like you coach your team in the way that they react best. So some teams they've won enough games. They've had enough history. They're good enough as far as their internal, whatever gets them going, that they don't necessarily need that. You and I, we talked a few weeks ago about the fact that this Jacksonville Jaguars team generally just does not play well as front runners, right? And then when they are underdogs, when they are being disrespected by the media, by the fan base, by the people that they talk to in their circles, that's when you see the best come from this team. We've seen that objectively be the calling card for this Jacksonville Jaguars team. And if we can see that, obviously the coach can too. So this makes it a very fascinating situation for the Jaguars because if you're a Jacksonville Jaguars team, you should thrive on this. You should love the fact that this Jacksonville Jaguars core feels disrespected and will continue to feel disrespected, because if you want the Jaguars to win, then you probably want them to not feel that respect. You want them to feel down. You want them to feel they're the underdogs. You want them to stay hungry. So the Coach Cohen seems to just leaning right into that because that's what's going to get him his best core of players, his best team, their best results. And I'm not disagreeing with it from my purposes. I'm like, no. Keep disrespecting the Jaguars. It works well for this team. And I want to see this team win. So, yeah, absolutely.
Travis Holmes, Big Cat Country, and the Duval Dive podcast. All right, Trevor Lawrence on Sunday in the win over Indianapolis. Probably his best game of the year. If you combine last week against Tennessee, I think it's his best 8 quarters of football. And the downfield passing attack, Travis, Brian Thomas Jr. looking like Brian Thomas Jr. You know, Tim Patrick, obviously Jacoby Myers as well. Really explosive on Sunday, despite horrible weather conditions. I thought it was pretty impressive. What was your thought?
There were so many impressive narratives to come out of that game with because of the surrounding context, the surrounding circumstances. You already spoke about the fact that, hey, it was like coming down pretty hard. The middle of that first quarter to basically to around halftime when the game was effectively over after the coach lost their quarterback. And Trevor Lawrence was looking really dang good after that first drive. He was accurate. He wasn't, continuing with the high throws. There were no turnover-worthy plays. Like, it was probably one of the best games I've seen from him this season. And it just so happens to coincide with this this post-bye week resurgence of the passing game that we've seen after the inclusion of Jacoby Myers into this offense. And now with this week seeing a fully healthy Brian Thomas Jr. being used in the old Brian Thomas Jr. ways of, maybe it's more his LSU ways of just, hey, just go deep. We got you. And just seeing a lot of those big plays, those explosive plays kind of materialize for this offense, it's done wonders for what fans and probably what the coaching staff kind of envisioned this offense to eventually be, if they're going to have this passing game, this explosive parts of the passing game back. But Tim Patrick was probably my biggest takeaway here. I mean, he's out there catching the ball with no gloves on in the pouring rain. You see no drops from him. But again, all of his catches seem to be of those explosive variety. He had the one drive where he basically had all the yards, and including the touchdown pass from Trevor Lawrence in the back corner of the end zone. And yeah, if you have a guy like that when you have Parker Washington who's out, and he steps up to also give you another outlet in that explosive passing game, I don't know how many teams are going to have enough defensive backs just to kind of match up to them in that way. Like, I don't want to get too high or too low, but I also want to acknowledge it was pretty impressive. We've talked so much about Liam Cohen, and with good reason. I want to compliment James Gladstone. Like you said, Tim Patrick, Jacoby Myers, Greg Newsome, probably his best game as a Jaguar. None of those guys were here on August 1st. All of those trades that James Gladstone made have looked to be pretty good right now. Right. And when you mirror it against the guys who are no longer here, it makes it very hard to give him any smoke, any flack for the moves that were made. Like, I'm not going to go down the whole list, but the list of guys, whether it's a Christian Kirk, whether it's a Tyson Campbell, who hasn't played very well in Cleveland these past 2 weeks. And if you can go down the list of all the players who either retired, just aren't playing, they're injured and out for the season, and then you also put that up against a mirror of how the guys like Tim Patrick, how Jacoby Myers have been playing, even Greg Newsome, even though it's been a up and down second half of the season, he's more on the upside now as of late. I would argue that this is very clearly a great situation, a great outcome for the Jacksonville Jaguars, both on the results on the field and actually the transactions that have been made. We'll see what happens over these final, 4 weeks of the season. But as it stands, it's kind of hard to argue that they haven't hit the ball out of the park on the vast majority of these transactions, or at least the overall landscape of it all. Final moments, Travis Holmes of Big Cat Country and the Duval Dive podcast. Sunday, even after winning 4 in a row, and by the way, destroying 3 of those 4 opponents, the Chargers, the Titans, and the Colts. I mean, Nick Mullins was in the fourth quarter. The 3 of those were blowouts. Even after winning 4 in a row, you had Liam Cohen and Travis Etienne talk about the collapse against Houston. I mean, the fact how much that still bothers them. And the narrative, Travis, and I'm curious your thoughts, there's no doubt that gave Houston life, and they've taken it and they've run with it. They're now 8-5 and looking really good right now. So I completely agree that the Jaguar collapse gave the Texans a second chance, and they've capitalized. But I would argue that collapse gave the Jaguars life as well, because after that collapse, this team has been very different the last 4 weeks. Well, it's sort of that conversation that that folks will always wonder, like, again, when you're having a young NFL team, as the Jacksonville Jaguars are, you can say whatever you want about the makeup of the roster, but this was a young team with over half of the roster being flipped in this past offseason. I mean, we talked about it, you and I. And they are still learning the ways to win and going through the most difficult part of their schedule early on. Whereas to mirror that against maybe an Indianapolis Colts team, which I would also consider reasonably young, but also having the easiest part of their schedule early on. Well, the Colts seemed like they may have crumbled with the injuries that they're going through while also coinciding with the hardest part of their schedule. Meanwhile, the Jacksonville Jaguars, in a very similar situation, early in the season, going through a really bad injury situation, still ends up having a winning season in the hardest stretch of their schedule. And that just quietly went under the radar. And in my head, I'm like, all right, no, they are finding ways to use this schedule to kind of mold it. And it's built them to be a little bit tougher. And then losing that Houston game lets them know, oh, wait a minute, we are this close to being a truly dominant team if we can just lock it in. I mean, Liam said it on Sunday. Losing that Houston game lets them know that this is a full 60-minute fight, and they have to lock in the entire time. And that's a week-by-week thing. That's a quarter-by-quarter thing. Across the board, they have to truly stay in this thing, because if you fall asleep at the wheel, you're going to crash. You fall asleep and you're going to lose a game against a team that you should absolutely be beating. So I think it was a great learning lesson for a young football team. It lets them know just exactly what's in front of them. And I think it's hopefully going to be beneficial for these final 4 games before this postseason start, knock on wood.
Travis, they like being the underdog. As Liam Cohen has often said, they like to play, or they play better when they're, quote, pissed off. And I agree with that, by the way. But they're playing an awful New York Jets team on Sunday. I mean, bad. 3-10. Looks like the Jets are thinking more about Cozumel than they are actual football. They want to go on vacation. I mean, they were awful against Miami on Sunday. It's the NFL, right? I mean, New Orleans went into Tampa and won. You got to come out and you got to perform well. And I hope the Jaguars do that. I hope they do what they did to the Tennessee Titans. Make it very clear, very quick that they're not going to play around with the Jets. You don't want to give a team like that hope and give them any thought of pulling an upset. I think the first quarter and a half on Sunday is vital to tell the Jets this isn't happening today.
I mean, that's been the storyline for the Jets. Like, when the few wins that they have had is when the other team gives them that life, gives them those opportunities, those explosive plays, either in the run game or even via the quarterback run, or you have those situations where the opposing team is just turning the ball over early and making them feel that there's a chance here, that we can actually walk out of here with a victory. And that's just what you don't want to do. And you can say that for the vast majority of the opponents that Jaguars have been playing as of late, the lower tier teams, at least I should say. And so the Jaguars have to come out of the gate early, maybe get a turnover on defense similar to this past week against the Indianapolis Colts, have some success on offense, obviously, and just protect the football early on, not allowing this team to think that there's a legitimate opportunity for them to kind of escape with a victory on every rank. And I think they should win this by double-digit points, but I don't care. Style points don't matter. Just win the game.
Get the W. That's all that matters. Jaguars, Jets on Sunday, 1 o'clock. You'll hear it right here on 1010XL. Travis Holmes. Travis, tell us about Big Cat Country. Also tell us about the Duval Dive podcast.
Well, I mean, Big Cat Country, SB Nation's, Jacksonville Jaguars fan site, the longest fan site for the Jaguars that's been around. We're talking 20 years at this point. So definitely head over to the site. We have all, the outcomes and the takeaways from the pressers, discussing the playoff kind of strategy as far as the opportunities for the Jaguars to maybe, potentially, knock on wood, get a number 1 seed. And just our takeaways from the game and the recaps and things of that nature. So yeah, bigcatcountry.com, the site, just favorite it. And Gus Logue and the team, they've been doing an incredible job there. And then we have the Duval Dive podcast. If you like it on YouTube, go to YouTube or wherever you catch your podcasts. With Kyle, the student of the game, Nash, and I, we just kind of recap this past week's game. We preview the upcoming game using all the stats, and we basically just chop it up and talk to all the Duval Devout, the fan base, about what you guys want to discuss. So, head over, whether it's YouTube or wherever you catch your podcasts, and, lock it in with the Duval Dive and Big Cat Country.
Travis, I know you're busy. Thank you as always for the time, and we'll talk soon, pal.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Every Friday in the fall is Pregame Friday.
Is this what I think it is? Yes, it is.
We'll get you ready for the games. Who's in, who's out.
This is what I'm talking about.
Built by Dream Finders Homes. Homes built to fit your lifestyle on 1010XL.
Rick Ballou for Coy Dental. That's right, Carlson Dental is now Coy Dental. Dr. Lee has been practicing there for 9 years, has purchased the company. The Coy Dental team still has the same great dentists and staff. And remember, if you get nervous visiting a dentist, don't. There's never a problem at Coy Dental with light sedation for cleaning and deep sedation for all your restorative needs. Coy Dental, located in Bartram Park.
Checkmate Coatings. Your floor's missing piece. Premium flooring. Take our advice. Home of business. Affordable price. Driveways, pool decks, garage doors, beautiful patios, and more to explore. Checkmate Coatings. Your floor's missing piece.
It's your lemon pepper guy, Leon Cersei here. My friends at Wingstop have the ultimate tailgate for you. Go to 1010XL.com to register to win a 100-piece wing party complete with fries, veggie sticks, and dips. That's 1010XL.com.
The holidays are coming, and so is your family. Is your septic system ready?
Honey, why is the yard bubbling?
Dad, the dog's swimming in the septic tank.
That's one way to greet the in-laws.
Don't let a septic disaster be the highlight of your holiday dinner. Call Duck Duck Rooter today and get it fixed before Uncle Bob finds out the hard way. Duck Duck Rooter, your local septic experts. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. DuckDuckRooter.com.
The best value for golf in Jacksonville remains Cimarron, totally reestablished with new tee boxes, improved fairways and greens, also a brand new restaurant with indoor and outdoor settings, and live music. Join the Wild One loyalty program online at Cimarron Golf. When's the last time you played Cimarron? Cimarron Golf Club on 210, the Wild One.
Here's a health and wellness tip from orthopedic specialists of Jacksonville.
Here's a simple tip for shoulder health to improve your posture. Slouching can put extra stress on your shoulders, leading to pain and injury. Make sure your head is over your shoulders are relaxed and pulled back, and your spine is properly aligned, whether you're sitting or standing. If you sit for long periods of time, make sure to get up and take breaks and work on pulling your shoulders back. Get up and get moving, Jacks, and go Jags.
Stay healthy with orthopedic specialists of Jacksonville.
Are you ready? The Jaguars are back at home for the second straight week. Join us at Everbank Stadium Sunday, December 14th, when your Jags take on the New York Jets in our Inspire Change game, celebrating social justice and community impact. Kickoff is at 1 p.m., so bring the energy, bring the noise, and be part of something bigger than the game. Don't wait. Lock in your seats now at Jaguars.com/tickets or call 904-633-2000.
After attending a Saturday Bumps and Bruises clinic by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, my son's hip and shoulder issues were diagnosed quickly, and he's back playing. As a busy family, we really appreciate their prompt attention.
I've been having knee problems for probably 6 months, and I had heard about Southeast Orthopedics on the radio, and I gave them a call. They got me right in. Dr. Kevin Murphy did it. It was painless, and it's been doing fantastic.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Ready to take your gift giving to the limit? Hey, I'm Ben Kay, owner of Gotham City Limit, your local comic shop, inviting you to stop by and see how we can help this holiday season. From comics to collectibles, community, and more, visit GothamCityLimit.com and always take it to the limit.
Hey, David again here with Royal Pet Services. It's that time of year when rodents start making their way into our homes. Layson, tell them what they need to get in.
A quarter-size hole.
That's right. That's all they need. Hey, tell them where to go for a free attic and exterior inspection.
Visit RoyalPetServices.com.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch. Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
Yes, it is till 10 o'clock every night. 1010XL, 92.5 FM. Thank you to Travis Holmes of Big Cat Country and the Duval Dive podcast. for joining us this evening. Couple of pieces of business to take care of. By the way, Brent Beard, you see him locally on First Coast News. You also get him weekly right here on Hacker After Dark. We'll talk about the college football playoff. We'll talk about the staff that John Sumrall is beginning to assemble at the University of Florida. And Brent is a Heisman Trophy voter. Yep, the Heisman Trophy gets announced Saturday night. Looks like it's going to be Mendoza of Indiana, Pavia of Vanderbilt, probably the top two. I would imagine Mendoza probably wins it. Imagine a world we live in. Imagine 5 years ago if I would have told you that the two Heisman frontrunners were the quarterback of Vanderbilt against the quarterback of the Indiana Hoosiers. But that's where we are. And one of those guys is likely to win the Heisman Trophy. We'll talk to Brent Beard about all of that. That comes up in about a little under 15 minutes or so. Congratulations to the Orlando Magic, winners against Miami tonight in the quarterfinals of the NBA Cup. They advanced to Las Vegas. That is the third time already this year the Magic have beat the Miami Heat. I love saying that. It's always great to beat the Heat, man, if you're a Magic fan like I am. And we have given Miami the business, not once, not twice, but already 3 times this year. Even without Franz Wagner, Orlando gets their 15th win of the year, and they advance to the semifinals in Las Vegas on Saturday. Speaking of college basketball, up at Madison Square Garden in just a few moments, the Florida Gators will tip off against UConn in the Jimmy V Classic. That is the second part of a doubleheader. I don't know if Gator fans, if you watched the opening game, Clemson BYU, a buzzer beater. BYU at the buzzer, a game-winning three-pointer to knock off Clemson. So already some magic there at Madison Square Garden. Florida and UConn tonight. Here's the deal for Florida. They're going to win their next 4 games after this. It's like George Washington, Colgate, Dartmouth, I think St. Francis or somebody. So they're going to win 4 in a row heading into conference play. You've already lost to Arizona, you've lost to TCU, and you obviously had a heartbreaker against Duke. Now, you did beat Florida State, you did beat Miami, and you did beat Providence. So the non-conference hasn't been a total loss. But if you lose to UConn tonight, you did not get one of the big non-conference games. You need to beat UConn tonight to get a win among the big non-conference games, or you're not really going to have one of those big quad one performances in the non-conference, which might matter seeding-wise on Selection Sunday. Hopefully it does matter seeding-wise on Selection Sunday. It better, or this season will be a disaster for Florida. But again, they start conference play against Missouri in a couple of weeks. 4 non-conference games after this, but against 4 mid-majors. So this is Florida's last opportunity. And you know UConn will be fired up because Florida ended UConn's season. Remember that in the second round last year. So you know Dan Hurley is going to have his guys all sorts of fired up. The last 3 national champions, UConn, UConn again, and Florida, going at it at Madison Square Garden. They're tipping things off there in a matter of moments. And I guess the big news in the sports world today is Philip Rivers, the 44-year-old grandfather. One of the more interesting stats or facts about Philip Rivers is he's got a 2-year-old son and like a 6-month-year-old grandchild. So his kid is 18 months older than his grandkid. Of course, Rivers has like 10 kids. Good for him. Hey, man, more power to you. But at 44 years of age, after not playing in the NFL for 5 years, he signs on today with the Indianapolis Colts to their practice squad. What's interesting is technically he's still a Hall of Fame semifinalist right now. If Philip Rivers is elevated to the Colts active roster, which everybody expects him to be, the clock has to start over for his induction into Canton, Ohio. He'll have to wait another 5 years to get into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Desperate times call for desperate measures, but this appears to be a panic move by Indianapolis. I mean, look, I get it. Anthony Richardson's on IR. Daniel Jones, just barely over 48 hours ago, tore his Achilles. And Riley Leonard has a ligament issue in his knee that has him week to week. The only other option you have inside the organization is Brett Rippon on your practice squad. You need a quarterback. You're 8-5. You're still in the hunt for a playoff spot. But with games at Seattle, home San Francisco, home Jacksonville, at Houston, it is a brutal final 4 games for Indianapolis. In Denmark, I just don't know what Phillip Rivers is going to be able to do. I applaud him for coming back, I suppose. But does he just have is he a glutton for punishment? Does he have a death wish? You're not going to play in the NFL for 5 years and potentially get thrown out there Sunday afternoon at Seattle in a must-win game for the Seahawks against Leonard Williams and that defense, DeMarcus Lawrence as well. That just doesn't seem very smart to me.
No, it don't make sense to me either. From Phillip Rivers' standpoint, the Colts, I totally understand what else you're going to do, but look, I mean, you've been retired since 2020, and you're a grandfather. There's things that are more valuable in life, and I know, some people can't let go of football, but I don't know. I would enjoy my retirement.
Like, I get somebody coming out of retirement after a year, maybe even after 2 years. I can't ever remember somebody coming out of retirement after 5 years. In any sport that I follow, maybe it has. 5 years is a long time. The last time Phillip Rivers played in the National Football League, Trevor Lawrence was a senior at Clemson. The last time Phillip Rivers played in the National Football League, J.J. Watt was on the Houston Texans. I mean, this is a long time. 5 years in between competitive football games at the NFL level. We'll see. It'll be fascinating to watch. I have my doubts as to whether it's going to work or not. But Indianapolis, obviously desperate after the loss of Daniel Jones for the season. Let's talk about the Heisman Trophy that gets announced on Saturday. Let's talk about the college football playoff. Let's also talk about John Sumrall and the staff he's assembling at the University of Florida with my buddy Brent Beard. You see him locally on First Coast News. You also get him weekly right here on Hacker After Dark. A Tuesday night in Northeast Florida. Jacksonville, we're glad you're with us till 10 o'clock here on 1010XL and on 92.5 FM.
Get national insight from a local legend.
I know exactly who this man is.
Mike Duraco.
And we get his insight every Thursday from 10 to noon on Jaguars Today with Mike Dempsey and Fat Tony. Written by Lee and Kate's Glass on 1010XL.
Hey Jacksonville, it's Lacey, your bar manager here at Fourscore Golf Tavern. We're officially kicking off the holiday season, and both of our locations, San Marco and Gate Parkway, are fully festive and ready for you to enjoy. Make sure you stop by and check out our holiday cocktail menu, lunch, and dinner specials. Happy hour is all day, every Tuesday. The fun continues with 10 top-of-the-line simulators between both locations, offering multiple games in almost every sport you can think of. So gather your group, get in the spirit, and come celebrate at Fourscore, the place to be in Jacksonville for holiday fun.
How do you know that your roof is ready for the next big storm? You don't. That's why you need to call me. I'm Ronnie, the owner of Brandon Roofing. We'll assess your roof and fix those issues before they become storm disasters. Visit BrandonRoofing.com today to schedule your free roofing quote.
License number CCC 1328006.
This holiday season, Universal Roofing Contracting is making it easy to check roof repairs off your list. Save up to 20% on roof replacements and repairs now through December 31st. Financing is available with payments as low as $115. Call 855-ROOF-HELP for your free inspection. Universal Roofing Contracting, protecting your home and building your trust. License number CCC 057165, CBC 1258484.
UniversalRoof.com. I'm here with Danny Van Sickle, Director of the Electrical Training Alliance. Danny, tell me about your program.
Hey, Rick. We're a 4-year electrical apprenticeship. Our students start out making over $40,000 a year, and right now make over $90,000 a year, including benefits. There is no tuition or student debt. You just have to apply and get accepted.
Did you say no tuition and no student debt?
You heard that right, Rick. Once you're accepted to the program, your only cost for the books and the course fees. About $800 a year.
That sounds like an amazing opportunity. How can I learn more?
Just go to etajax.org, and you can apply there.
Apply by May 14th.
Hey, is your home ready for the holidays? Hicken here. Spots are filling up fast. Lock in yours today at ZeroResJacksonville.com and get 20% off all hard surface cleaning, tile and grout, hardwood, LVP. Happy holidays from all of us at Zero Res.
'Twas the night before Christmas, and all through the town, no gifts for the ladies could truly be found. They hinted at diamonds, at sparkle and bling, but chain store price tags made wallets go cha-ching. Then what to their wondering eyes should appear but Beard's Diamonds, so sparkling, so near. No risk, no regret, no big corporate chain, just family-run brilliance that eases the strain. Beard's Diamonds is local, with prices that please. Better diamonds, more choices, and warranties with ease. More carat, more fire, more glow for the price. Shop Beards, wrap it up, steal kisses twice.
Are you looking to make some Christmas magic this year? Get her the perfect gift from Beard's Diamonds. The largest selection of rings, pendants, earrings, bracelets, bands, colored gemstones, new designer and fashion, all at the guaranteed best prices from the town center's only locally owned jeweler. And now during our 44th anniversary sale, you save as much as 44% store-wide. Let Beard's non-commissioned experts help you find the perfect gift. From one Jacksonville family to another, Merry Christmas from Beard's Diamonds, St. John's Town Center.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah.
Now the cool down with Donovan Air, Electric and Plumbing, keeping Jack's cool since '87.
Back here on 1010XL at 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. We are glad you are with us. The college football playoff is set. The 12 teams that will determine the national championship. We're giving out a Heisman Trophy coming up this weekend. And the Florida Gators head coach John Sumrall is getting ready for the college football playoff, still on the Tulane sideline while putting together a staff in Gainesville. Let's talk about all of it with a Heisman Trophy voter. As a matter of fact, my buddy Brent Beard, you see him locally on First Coast News, and you also get him weekly right here on Hacker After Dark. Mr. Beard, how are you, my friend?
Well, it's always good to be back with you, Hank. And one thing that people may have missed, on this Thursday night, the SEC has its 2026 schedule reveal.
Wow,
now,
yeah.
Now, heck, look, I'm glad they're revealing the schedule. I would have thought they may have waited a little bit, but it is a calmer week, I will admit that. So that's something people can look forward to. And again, discussion on another day, but the league will have 9 SEC, not 8, but 9 SEC games next year. And there's already a lot of discussion about, should they really have done that? So that's something we will watch very carefully and look forward to the reveal on Thursday.
Yeah, it's very similar to the NFL schedule. We already know, like, for example, we know who Florida's playing. We just don't necessarily know when they're playing them. We know the location. We know the teams. This Thursday night, we will find out the dates of those games. All right, speaking of Florida, John Sumrall still on the sidelines of Tulane. We'll get to that aspect in a moment. But putting together a staff in Gainesville, and Brent, all the reports out. Now, Florida hasn't come out and made it official yet, so I want to at least mention that it's not necessarily official, but everything you hear is that Buster Faulkner of Georgia Tech is going to be the offensive coordinator on John Sumrall's staff. And if that is indeed the case, what a terrific hire for Sumrall.
Great hire. Look, Sumrall has made some inroads already. My understanding is they're going to keep Gerald Chapman, the defensive line coach. Also, Rob Sale, the offensive line coach, will not be back. And the Jabbar Julich may not be retained either. Now, those are things that we'll check on. As Hank said, some of this stuff may not be official, but it's certainly out in the news. Yes, Buster Faulkner, who did really good things at Georgia Tech, is coming in, and I think people are going to be impressed, Hank, with this staff, with what he's going to be able to put together. I think he said all the right things. He's done all the right things so far. We're not predicting national championships or anything like that, getting ahead of ourselves, but I think Gator fans should be pleased with what is happening in Gainesville right now.
Well, I'll tell you this about Buster Faulkner. I remember when I wanted Brent Key, and I was talking to people up in Atlanta, and they said, all right, well, yeah, if you want Brent Key to be the head coach of Florida, that's fine, but make sure he brings Buster Faulkner with him.
Yep.
So obviously Buster Faulkner is really thought of in high regard for what Georgia Tech was able to do this year.
Yeah, matter of fact, Georgia Tech's offense finished this year ranked 12th nationally in total offense, 466 yards per game, 9-3, which had you and I growing up, would Georgia Tech have won 9 games in 2 years?
Yeah, I mean, and their offense was just so boring with Paul Johnson back in the day, and then they had a couple other guys, but certainly they found something with Brent Key, and that's a tough loss because I watched a couple of Georgia Tech podcasts, and they're not very happy that it appears Buster Faulkner is heading to the University of Florida, and I get it. I mean, Summerall's a defensive guy. If Florida's offense thrives, Faulkner's going to be a head coach very, very soon.
Well, and look, you and I have talked about this. This is one thing that Billy never really understood. And I know he was and is an offensive guy, and hopefully, certainly wish him success in his next job. But the reality of it is, he never really helped himself by being basically head coach and offensive coordinator. I think that's one thing you see at this point with Summerall. He is not reluctant to share the wealth with these other guys. That's going to pay off for him, too.
You see Brent Beard on First Coast News. You also get him weekly right here on Hacker After Dark. Brent, let's go 60 seconds here because I want to get to the playoff. You mentioned Billy Napier going to James Madison, not to break down the X's and O's of James Madison moving forward, but I've had this conversation with a couple of Gator fans. To me, Billy Napier is going to be more Will Muschamp than he's going to be Jim McElwain. I get the sense after a year or two goes by, Gator fans might tend to root for Billy Napier and James Madison.
Yes.
Like, for example, when Central Michigan was on TV, I rooted against them because Jim McElwain was their head coach. I get the sense next year, Brent, when James Madison's on a Wednesday night in November, I might pull for him because Billy Napier's on the sideline.
I think the day's coming when he returns to Florida Field and is giving a nice reception, frankly. Look, he was now, we didn't see the results on the field, but people you talk to at Florida would tell you there were some areas that he really did some good in, and that he actually made the football program better in some ways. Again, we're not saying the record's that way, but there were things that he did that did make a difference. I'm with you on that. I think after a few years, he would be probably treated better than he would be now.
I remember when Will Muschamp was fired, and Gator fans were happy that he was gone. But you ask Gator fans now about Will Muschamp, they look at him differently, and I think Billy Napier might fall into that same boat. All right, the 12-team college football playoff. Let's not bury the lead. Do you agree, Brent Beard, with Miami getting in over Notre Dame?
Yes, I do. Frankly, because when you really drill down with this, Notre Dame, as the season went on, they struggled as far as if you're going to pay any credence to the strength of schedule, I think that's something that really cannot be ignored. Along that, and again, what Hack's talking about, Notre Dame at 10-2 was left out. They were the first team left out. Second team was BYU, and they were left out also. So, and kudos to Miami. They frankly saved their conference by doing that also. But the reality of this is, and I'm just telling you, I'll be brief about this. Heck, when I was growing up in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, in many ways, Notre Dame ran college football. If it was between Notre Dame and another school to get into, say, a national championship situation, Notre Dame would be favored for that. So I cannot tell you what a big deal this is. Now, your listeners who are older will understand that. But, for instance, Notre Dame's last 5 games with your FPI rank, BC was 87, Navy 70, Pitt 37, Syracuse 100, and Stanford 81. So I am disappointed they didn't elect to go to play in the bowl game, and they've gotten a lot of criticism for that. But I can frankly see why that decision was made. And again, just frame of reference here, I cannot tell you what a big deal this is for Notre Dame not to be in the playoffs.
Couple more for Brent Beard. I'm never going to be confused for the smartest guy in the room, Brent. I think I was rocking a 2.8 GPA at the University of North Florida back in the day. Having said that, if one team is ranked 10th and one team is ranked 11th, and they both have 2 losses, and they literally played one another, and one team beat the other, it's not rocket science. Head-to-head should matter. Now, if one team is ranked 5th and one team is ranked 14th, well, that's maybe a little different. But if they're right next to one another and one team beat the other one, the team that won on the field should get the bid. I don't know what Notre Dame is upset about.
Yeah, well, look, I agree with that totally. And frankly, the committee, in the end, shall we say, probably got it a lot more right than they did earlier in the season.
And we'll obviously preview the round 1 games next week. I want to do big picture stuff. We got about 3 or 4 minutes left. James Madison gets in. Tulane gets in. I understand the 5 highest ranked conference champions, so it's clearly not the 12 best teams in college football. Do you, Mr. Beard, have any issue with James Madison and Tulane both getting in?
Yeah, and I'll qualify this. Now, obviously, you've got a rematch with Tulane and Ole Miss in this. James Madison, Oregon could, frankly, be ugly. Look, I appreciate that level of football. I appreciate both those teams, but I think what we're going to see coming sooner than later is, frankly, your non-Power 4 schools really need to have their own playoff. If it's 8 or 16, it really doesn't matter to me. But I think that's what needs to go on because, frankly, if you didn't have James Madison and Tulane, the 2 teams we mentioned in Notre Dame and BYU would have gotten in. And I think, heck, eventually that's probably going to happen. And look, if you're those schools, at some point, don't you come up and say, it's nice to be in the playoffs. We're probably never going to win or get very far in it. So why don't we do our own thing? And I do think that's coming in the future.
What I heard, I believe it was Dan Orlovsky, I want to say it was him, that said, Notre Dame deserved to get in over Alabama. Not Miami, but Alabama. And my response to that is simple. You can have that argument, but that's never going to happen because if Alabama were left out, no one will ever go play in the SEC championship game.
Yeah.
And then Greg Sankey is going to call the committee and say, you're not doing that because we have to have the SEC championship game. So it would have been a precedent that the committee did not want to go down with the Southeastern Conference if they left Alabama out.
Yeah, I agree with that. And look, and again, we got to remember whether it's right or wrong or indifferent, the SEC and the Big Ten end up making the rules in the playoffs, and we're going to continue to. And to your point, that's why we will continue to see what we're seeing now.
Final moments with Brent Beard. You see him on First Coast News. You also get him weekly right here on Hacker After Dark. Brent, final question. You are a Heisman voter. We will go over your votes next week after it is revealed. We know the 4 finalists, and clearly it appears it's a battle between Fernando Mendoza of Indiana and Diego Pavia of Vanderbilt.
Let me couch my remarks on this like this. when in the world would you have ever thought that we would have a player from Indiana and a player from Vanderbilt in the Final Four of the Heisman Trophy race?
Great point. Yeah.
That is absolutely amazing, is it not? And what's also interesting here, we've got another position besides a quarterback. We've got 3 quarterbacks and actually a running back in Jeremiah Love. So that's one of the different things. Yes, as a Heisman voter, and I really don't agree with this, but that's what we've got. We're not supposed to tell anyone who we voted for until the award is released. We used to be able to do that, and it really caused some interesting discussion during the week and brought some attention to the trophy. So
what was that website? Stiffarmtrophy.com.
Yes.
Remember that?
I remember that one. I remember that really well. Yes.
You could just go on there and see who everybody voted for. It was really interesting.
Yeah, it really was, wasn't it?
and quickly, and as much detail as you can give. And again, we got to go quick. But the process. Do they just send you an email and you just give them your top 3 and just hit submit? Is it as simple as that?
Yes. Yeah. And the deadline was Monday at 5:00. Yes, it basically was. I mean, I've always been careful not to vote early for that award because you never know what might happen in the championship games either. But in the voting process, we used to have about I'm being serious here, about 10 steps in order to do your vote. Now it may be 3. So thank God they've simplified it a good bit. So yes, it will be announced on this coming Saturday, 7 p.m. Eastern Time on ABC.
We will talk about Mr. Beard's vote next week. We will also preview round 1 of the college football playoff, as we will have 4 playoff games on December 19th and December 20th. You see Brent Beard on First Coast News. You also get him weekly right here on Hacker After Dark. Brent, thank you as always, bud. We'll talk next week.
And just a reminder real quick, we have several bowl games. I won't go into all of them that begin on Saturday. So, Hack, it's not that we've got to wait on the playoff to see college football, because Saturday, Tuesday, Wednesday of next week, we will have, and also Thursday, we will have games.
That's fun to see, no question about it. We got to enjoy all of them because college football is wrapping up here in 2025. Thank you as always, bud.
My pleasure, brother. Take care.
And thank you to Graham Hall, 24/7 Sports, Swamp 247, for joining us tonight here on Hacker After Dark to take a look at, obviously, the John Sumrall hire down in Gainesville. Hard to believe it's been a week since that was announced and the press conference took place. Of course, Sumrall leads Tulane to an American Conference championship last Friday, and Tulane's in the college football playoff. And Sumrall will be coaching them, the Florida Gators head coach, still on the Tulane sideline, as he will be coaching the Green Wave in the college football playoff coming up next weekend, or I guess, what are we talking about, 11, 12 days from now, against Ole Miss in Oxford in the college football playoff. Some of the hires have begun to come out as far as some coordinator hires that Sumrall has made in game.